Okay, so I have not done a video in, I want to say 2 weeks because I didn't do one on Wednesday, but it's really been 1 week because I'm technically doing this week's video today. But that is because I have been sick, and I am still technically sick, and it is hot in this other room I'm in. Um, but it's quiet up here, so whatever. Um, but yeah, basically, if I miss a week, it's most likely because of something like that, because I'm sick and my just stomach issues. And it sucks, but let's get on to this. The first three, I guess I'm gonna do kind of like a combination from last week and this week's stuff that I've gotten. And obviously, what you see here is kind of old because I went to the swap meet, which I like to do a lot. And there's a guy there I buy games from, and he always has a giant thing of comic books, but I never went through them. And I decided to actually go through them like 2 weeks ago, all of them, and there was some decent stuff, but I'm just was looking for anything either Amazing Spider-Man or Uncanny X-Men, and out of the at least 100 comic books he had, maybe a little bit more, he only had like four. One of them I didn't get because the cover was actually completely ripped off, more or less, just like hanging under by like half a staple or something. But I haven't even read these yet. Amazing Spider-Man 524. Yeah, this doesn't even have a backboard. uh, Uncanny X-Men 257 and Uncanny X-Men 305. Yeah, I am trying to get most, or not all, of the Uncanny X-Men issues, which will be probably take me, a couple of good amount of years. And by the way, that was my phone vibrating, in case you're wondering what that noise was, because you're being recorded on the phone, and whatever, it probably was either email or text message or eBay, most likely. Um, So, Infinity Avengers issue 21. God, it's been a week and I barely remember everything that I read last week, especially being sick. Um, but I know what happens in issue 22, so this is pretty much nearing the end of the war in space. I believe they do talk about how Thor kind of betrayed what they were going to do with that little peace treaty they wanted, that he ended up not doing a peace treaty. And I'm just like, from memory, it was a decent issue, but again, Avengers, I will be dropping Avengers most likely right after Infinity ends, because too much back and forth between present and past in the earlier issues, and a few times in these issues, and I'm not a fan of that. It's just too all over the place. It's not consistent for me, and I mean, it's consistent, I understand the story, but it just bothers me. Batman and Two-Face, which shows the origin of Two-Face. It wasn't that great of an origin. I'm not gonna lie. They could have probably added more backstory, made it a little bit better. I don't know. I didn't read the Forever Evil Two-Face, so for all I know, they did. But yeah, this lady comes back from, I want to say, Ireland, and Batman basically is after her. I believe she is the one who turned Two-Face to Two-Face. I don't really remember for sure. Uh, the next issue is supposed to tie into Carrie Kelly, if I am correct. So hopefully it'll get more interesting then, because that's really the only reason I picked it up. Um, I've been wanting to get all of these up until whatever happens next with the next Batman and Robin, if there will be another Robin anytime soon or what. But if it's just going to keep jumping back and forth between Batman and, I'm probably am going to end up dropping it. It's a good price. $2.99 is a good price for this comic book, but it's just something else I have to pay for. But otherwise, other than that, it was a pretty good issue. They could have done a better job with the Two-Face origin that they put in here, but like I said, otherwise, it was a pretty good issue. Guardians of the Galaxy issue 7, more of Angela. They talk to her, and pretty much that's actually pretty much all that happens, is they kind of just talk to her, and they kind of let her go, and she is talking about how in her world, Earth is a story, kind of how, like in our world, you can kind of say heaven is a story because we've never been there, if you leave it or not, whatever. I'm not getting into that kind of stuff, but that's what happened in there. A decent enough issue. Not much happened, but still really like Guardians of the Galaxy, and next issue does finally tie into Infinity. I don't know how, but it will. Um, Thor, issue 14. I believe, if I'm remembering correctly, the All Mother assembles a different team for Thor to go and take on that King of the Dark Elves because it would be unfair or something for him to use his own people, or there's like some kind of issue there where he can't use his like usual team. It can only be him and these other people, and that's basically the story. Some fighting, it's all right. It's definitely not as good as the whole God Bomb, uh, freaking how many 10-part epic story. But it's interesting. It's more fantasy now. I guess before it was really fantasy, like the reading cell with the God Bomb thing. But this is even more, especially with the elves and everything. It's interesting. I like it, and I will keep getting it for now. Yeah. New Avengers issue 11, which ties in directly into Avengers. Actually, now that I remember. Uh, so the New Avengers are transported to a different universe. The universe that's crashing into ours, and are confronted by, I think it's their version of the Builders, and they're kind of telling them, eventually you might have to destroy your own world to save the rest of the multiverse. I believe it was something like that. I don't really remember for sure. All I know is that it was an interesting issue. I'm doing a bad job at reviewing right now, but I did just take medicine not that long ago. So, yeah. But no, I did like this issue. A lot of talking, not enough action, but it was a good issue. The Superior Spider-Man issue 19, and oh my god, next to All New X-Men, was it All New X-Men or was it Wolverine? No, it was Uncanny X-Men. No, okay, next to Uncanny X-Men, best issue from last week would be the Superior Spider-Man issue 19, just because of how it ended. If you remember in the issue 18, he kind of knocks out Spider-Man 2099, and Horizon is about to blow, basically. The time door is gonna go. It's like all this crazy stuff is gonna happen, and Peter Parker, funny enough, is the one who actually would know how to stop it, because apparently he's the one who did this in like the first time it happened. But since Doc Ock erased Peter from his mind, he can't access those memories anymore, so he doesn't know the equation he needs. Um, so that was pretty much it in a nutshell. Was that? But the ending, I'm not gonna say what happens in the end. Definite, really, really good. And we'll hopefully be seeing more Spider-Man 2099 in the future. And that's all I want to say from that. But definitely a really good issue. And uh, they actually online, I saw the covers for like up to issue 20 something after the Venom thing that comes up in, I think, two more issues. I think because the next one's Black Cat, and then there's one more kind of filler issue, it seems like, and then the whole Venom thing starts. And after that, it looks like the Goblin King thing is going to finally kick in. So hopefully after that, Peter Parker might return. Who knows, if we're lucky. Otherwise, still enjoying Superior Spider-Man. I know people don't like him. I know people want Peter Parker back. But it's just something we have to sit through until somebody brings him back, or, it'll happen eventually. Um, Uncanny X-Men issue 13, Valley Atom, chapter 8. Trying to remember exactly what happened. I believe the future X-Men do the future real X-Men attack, and they try to send the past X-Men back to the past. Doesn't work. You know what? I'm gonna get more into what happens in the next when I get to this week's issue because I don't really remember everything, and I'm probably gonna end up spoiling some stuff, even though by now you probably already read it. Like I said, probably my favorite issue. Like I said, I can't remember that much right now on medicine, but can't really blame me for that, right? Right? These other things, I'm pretty sure these came out last week. Yeah, Halo Initiation Part 3. I didn't know this was only 3 parts, because it ends by saying end, or something like that. Um, she fights a Spartan that doesn't need armor. That was pretty much it. Apparently after that, it leads into the tablet game, which I have not played because I do not have a Microsoft tablet. I own Apple products. Um, I don't know if it's on Xbox Live. If it's on Xbox Live, that's cool and all, but I don't like DLC. And if it's on Windows 7, I don't use my PC that much. And again, I don't like downloadable stuff. I like things on disk. So yeah. Batgirl Wanted Part 2. Okay, so I the last time we actually saw the part right before this part 1 was before Villains Month. So I kind of had forgotten what happened in part 1, but uh basically Gordon shoots the guy she's dating, and she Barbara is there, but she's kind of dressed in like this kind of ninja-y thing. She doesn't want to be Batgirl. She doesn't want to dress as Batgirl because she feels like she's disgraced it or something like that. Anyways, that's where it starts off with the police and having her surrounded. Of course, she's gonna get away, but it was definitely a really good issue, and I really want to read part 3, but we're gonna have to wait even longer for part 3, probably until November, because the next issue coming out will be Batgirl 0 Year, which I believe a lot of them are getting a 0 Year, like one shot kind of thing. Just saying, like, this is what happened while 0 Year was like that. That's where they were, kind of thing. So I mean, it's gonna be cool. It's gonna be interesting. Do I wish they would also release Batman Batgirl issue 25 or whatever they want to call it, 26 if it's issue 26? Yeah, but uh, whatever. Captain America issue 12. Forgot this guy's name, but it was a good issue. But I was more interested with the beginning half of Captain America. Just seeing how his life is after his stay in Dimension Z. I thought that was way more interesting than the actual this guy who is killing people in the name of America in a different country. And yeah, don't really got much to say about it. Like I said, it was a decent enough issue. I'm sure it's gonna get better. But like I said, I was more interested in the Captain America part of it instead of the ending half of it. Which, that said, if you haven't seen it, the Captain America trailer is out. I'm sure pretty much everybody already knows this, but it looked awesome. I'm actually excited for it. More excited than I was when I saw the first Avenger trailer, and I don't think there was really anything here. Cataclysm Last Stand does start soon. I believe there's a .1 issue coming out next week, which I may or may not get, because I want to get all the Ultimate stuff in hardcover, not in trade, not in issues, but I'm interested because it's, the one universe is Galactus versus them, so yeah. Harley Quinn issue 0, because she's getting her own comic book now. And, yeah, that's pretty much it for this thing. Let's get on to this week's comic books. And yes, last week I did get a lot of things, if you can see this giant pile, but this week I didn't get as much, which was surprising. I actually felt like I wasn't getting everything I wanted, which I kind of didn't, but I did that on purpose because I was like, you know what, I don't want these. Anyways, Infinity Nova. Infinity tie-in, basically. Nova, issue 9, very loosely tied into Infinity, just the fact that in the last issue, Thanos sent an assassin after him, because he's a Nova. That was pretty much the only real way it ties in, but otherwise, it was a really good issue. I definitely recommend it. Has its kind of funny moments, and, yeah, I don't want to spoil it, just, if you're getting Nova, you know what I'm talking about. If you're not getting Nova, you should get Nova because I really like it and I don't want it to get canceled, and it is awesome. Marvel Now What? This is an entire just a parody spoof freaking thing. Funny. it's self-aware, and I got nothing else to say about it other than if you want something that's just gonna be funny and has nothing to do with anything, get it. If you want serious comic book stuff, probably not for you. But I thought it was awesome, and even if it wasn't good, look at the cover. Yeah, that's all I got to say about that. Forever Evil Justice League issue 24. Forever Evil tie-in anyway. I was not planning on getting this. I was kind of like, I'm just gonna wait for the rest of the For Evil stuff and get it as a as a trade or something. But I decided I'm gonna at least get the Justice League ones, and I'm glad I did because this was a good issue. Um, that said, I do not remember at all what happened in it. Wow, that is kind of funny, but I do remember enjoying it. Huh. I'm a little disappointed in myself because I legitimately do not remember what happened in. Huh. That said, um, if you remember what happened in it, go ahead and leave me a comment. I'll probably reread it again. When you're sick and you read things, even if you're not sick from like having a cold, you're just sick from your stomach. I guess remembering things is hard. Wow. Actually, I'm starting to wonder if I read this. I don't remember. A little bit out of it, can't tell. But I'm hoping I'll be better by next week because I should actually be done with my medicine by Tuesday. So hopefully I will be. These next two I definitely did read. So I'm gonna do Uncanny Avengers, which I read last night actually. Yeah, the reason I'm starting to think I didn't read this is because the tape is perfect. So maybe I didn't read it, and I'm just deluding myself into thinking I did. But Uncanny Avengers issue 13, definitely a good issue. Um, Wolverine's son, Draken, right? I think that's how you pronounce it. He's kind of beating on him, kind of making him feel bad for killing him. Um, these three, Wasp, Havoc, and Captain America. Well, Captain America, not really, but he shows up, and he's just like a comedy relief throughout the whole rest of the issue, and it was kind of funny. I'll get to that in a second. They take on a Banshee, which they do take out, more or less. Scarlet Witch reveals her plan, and a few other things. The ending seemed like really good, and the next issue looks like it's going to be really good. All that said, Captain America was hilarious because a Banshee's scream, he hurt his hearing, and he keeps yelling everything throughout the whole issue, and like Havoc keeps getting annoyed, and then like Havoc will say something like, "Oh, it's probably because of this, and this," and then Captain America will say the same thing, and he's just like, "I just said that," and it was funny. So yeah, that was a good issue. And Wolverine and the X-Men, Battle Atom, Chapter 9, Issue 37, and not as much action as I was actually hoping, at least right off the bat, because I thought it would have been cool to see Scott at the Jean Grey school doing some, few normal Scott, not past Scott, doing battling and stuff. But the past, not the past, the past X-Men get kidnapped, basically. The future Brotherhood of Evil Mutants is, I guess, what they're calling them. They take off to where they first fought Magneto, where the original X-Men first fought Magneto, and the X-Men go after them. It's cool to see Wolverine and Cyclops kind of working together to kind of like agree, like they agreed to do this, but they're still hate each other. So you can see there's still definitely tension there, but their teams are all working together along with the future X-Men, and they go out to try and take out the evil ones. And Shield is getting involved, and the next issue, just the cover alone, makes it look epic. And it comes out next week, and I can't wait. Um, I will say Uncanny Avengers and Wolverine and the X-Men were probably my two favorite things this week. If I had to choose one, of course, I'd go with Wolverine and the X-Men just because I really like X-Men. But yeah, I had to read this. But there is actually one more thing I got last Saturday that I got for a really good price because of eBay bucks. Yay! Because I had to buy like an engine head for my car, and I got a whole bunch of credit in that, and I buy things and like credit. So this basically cost me $20, which I was happy about. It's not in the greatest condition. It does have its little tears, but it's an issue I've been wanting forever, since I started collecting comics, because it's my favorite X-Men character in general is just awesome, and that is X-Men issue 101, and I'm excited. I mean, there's really nothing else to say. That I got one of the issues that I've been wanting for a while now. The origin and first appearance of Phoenix. Like I said, it's not in the greatest condition, a few tears. Definitely like a tear here that goes through a good ways in. But otherwise, it's in, decent enough condition. The cover is good. The pages, are all there. It doesn't look like it was recut, I think. And if it was, they did a horrible job. um, but yeah, I don't know. I just wanted to show that because that is something that I really enjoyed getting. Anyways, hopefully next week I will sound more consistent and not all and I will remember to read an issue and not try and review it without thinking I read it. But yeah, okay then. So hopefully you enjoy this, and comment, thumbs up, subscribe. That help out a little bit. And I will hopefully see you next week, and I will hopefully not be on medicine next week, and I will hopefully not be sweating because it is in the freaking 80s and I'm in the attic. Okay then. Bye.